Hi, kindergartners. It's Mrs. Riches. Today, I wanted to continue our adventure with George and the Dragon. So, I'm going to be sharing a new book with you. It is called The Great Dragon Rescue. So, think about what you think is going to happen. You see a cover on the cover of the book, you see a couple things here. Make a prediction, and then as we read the book, see if your prediction comes true. Let's begin.
The Great Dragon Rescue by M.P. Robertson. George was bored one morning. When it came to fighting, chickens weren't half as brave as dragons. While he gathered eggs from the chicken coop and daydreamed about dragonish things, he felt the coop shudder. Cautiously, he peeked his head out the door and saw it was his old friend the dragon. Up, up, up they soared, George, the dragon, and the chicken coop. George shouted hello, but the dragon seemed anxious to get somewhere. They flew faster and faster until they came to a land where everything began with once upon a time. They dropped down into a dark, dank forest. The dragon led George through the trees until they could see a flickering light ahead. From behind a tree they watched as a warty witch barbecued toads on a dragon's flame. The dragon was only a fledgling, barely out of the egg. It looked scared and sad. Then suddenly, noticing George and the dragon, its eyes opened wide and its tail began to wave. George and the dragon stayed hidden until the witch had gobbled her way through a cauldron full of toads. Soon they could hear her snores rattling the windows of the cottage. George rushed to open the cage, but as he struggled with the knot, the witch's crow flapped around the cage, crying, wake up, witch! Someone's stealing the dragon!" The witch came bursting out, her wand crackling with spells. "Who dares to steal my barbecue?" she roared. Now George had read enough fairy tales to know that witches are very boastful. "I don't believe you are a witch," he said. "Real witches can fly on broomsticks." "Of course I'm a witch. I'm the quickest, wickedest witch in the West," she bragged. "My dragon has beaten the wicked witches of the North, South, and East," George fibbed. "I bet he can beat you, too." "I bet he can't," sneered the witch. "Let's race around the enchanted castle and back. When I win, I'll turn you both into toads for my supper." She jumped on her broomstick. On your marks, get set, and she was gone. The witch was frighteningly fast, but the dragon was faster. Soon the witch and the dragon were neck and neck. As the enchanted castle came into view, the dragon was in the lead. George looked back to see the witch weaving a spell. But George had prepared a secret weapon. Just before the spell was cast, he pelted the witch with eggs. The witch was in a terrible rage. There was a blinding flash, but the egg that dripped from her wand had scrambled the spell. Back they flew to the witch's house, but by the time they landed on the roof, all that remained of the witch was her broomstick and her hat. Cautiously, George lifted the hat. Hidden beneath was a large, smelly, warty toad. "It will be 100 years before a prince kisses that," he thought. Ugh. Then he set the baby dragon free. It ran to the big dragon with a roar of delight. George didn't speak dragon, but he knew exactly what the baby had said. Daddy. It was time for George to return home. The chicken would be missing their coop, and his parents would be missing George. Up, up they soared, and George waved goodbye to the land where everything ended with happily ever after. Unless you're a witch or a toad. The end.
I hope you enjoyed The Great Dragon Rescue by M.P. Robertson. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.